Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with today's guest, but first, we want to give a shout out to our partners, the Florida Coaches Coalition, the Global Community of Women in High School Sports, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, and We Coach. You heard me say many times, these are four great organizations. You should really add them to your network. And now, don't hit that fast forward button. I'm watching you. Stay with us for the next 3 minutes. We're going to give our sponsors a shout out. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. You should be using them too. Here we go. We want to say thanks to Snap Mobile for their support of the podcast. Are you tired of spending hours and hours with fundraisers that require too much time and provide little or no results? Stop right here and go over to snapraise.com/EDAD. SnapRaise is hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school, and our coaches and our parents just loved it. But what's more important, it works. Go to snapraise.com/EDAD. You'll also find some powerful tools like Snap Manage, Snap Store, and an exciting one called FanX. Head over to snapraise.com/EDAD. Check out their entire suite. It's going to help you do your job better. You're also automatically entered to win $1,500 in your next SnapRaise fundraiser. We also want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame for their support. Go to their website, vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to display your school record boards, your school's Hall of Fame, or simply showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. Mention the podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Gipper, the official social media graphics solution for the Educational AD podcast. If you go to Gipper.com, their team is going to show you how to create world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. It's so easy, even I can do it. Celebrate your teams, promote your athletes. Go to Gipper.com. Once again, mention this podcast. They'll give you a nice discount. Start creating world-class content for your school's social media channel. We want to say thank you to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more. We'd like to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that helped them coach our kids up to the highest level. At Huddle, we believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 8 million users and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. Their products not only generate income for your department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We want to say thank you to our friends at Home Campus, the exclusive high school and state association management platform for us. It's also your one-stop platform for things like scheduling, student athlete eligibility and clearance, and a whole lot more. As an athletic director, I used Home Campus every single day, and it was just fantastic. You're going to love it too. Go to homecampus.com to get started. That's homecampus.com. And we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and an affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire program. Athletic directors already hear back from the complainers, that small percentage that want to gripe about everything. Athletic surveys not only connects you to that group, it also connects you to the 98% that love and support your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with a frustrated parent or your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They can create a custom survey that'll let you take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. That's athleticsurveys.com. gipper.com. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We've been very fortunate over the years to feature not just athletic directors from the United States, but also a number of international athletic directors. And we are traveling today all the way down to Santiago, Chile. And our guest is Lorena Rodriguez. Lorena is a certified athletic administrator, and she's the assistant athletic director at the International School Nido de Aguilas. Okay. And again, that's in Santiago, Chile. Lorena, welcome to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm super honored to be your guest today. So thank you very much.
No, well, thank you. And again, you and I were talking before we came on. You came very highly recommended, so there's no pressure, from one of our mutual friends, Claudia Aria in Brazil, good friend. But this is your show, so let's go ahead and get started. We always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us that quick bio. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Maybe take us up through your own high school and college days, and then we'll take a break, come back and hear more about your career. But what's the Lorena Rodriguez origin story?
Okay, so born and raised in Santiago de Chile, where I am right now. So I've been linked with sports all of my life. Both of my parents are PE teachers. I'm a PE teacher as well. So, well, as I said, I was born here. I studied at a British school, bilingual British school here in Santiago. And that's where I started with sports. I played sports all my life in school. I studied to be a PE teacher. When I finished high school, I was playing sports all my life. I was in 12th grade and I was like, well, now I have to study something. What do I want to do? And I really didn't know what to do. But the only thing I knew was I love playing sports. This is what I've done all my life. So I started studying to be a PE teacher here in Santiago de Chile as well. I studied for 5 years. I graduated. And then I moved to the States for 1 year. I went to Pomona College. I got the opportunity to go there for a year and work as a language resident. So I was working there. I had the visa to be a student teacher.
Right.
So I got the chance to take courses over there to get credits to keep my student teacher visa, as well as working as a language resident. So I was in charge of organizing events that would promote the Latin culture over there. Movie nights, parties, dinners. Every lunch I had to be there, like speaking in Spanish with anyone who wanted to speak in Spanish, to practice their Spanish. So it was a pretty nice and fun year over there. I came back to Chile. That was 2004, 2005. I came back to Chile and was like, what am I doing here? I want to go back to the States. So since I had friends over there still, I just went back over there for one more semester, but then was like, okay, Lorena, you need to come back to real life. So I came back to Chile and I started working as a PE teacher at a British school as well. Same British schools league as where I studied, not my school, but from the same league. I worked there for 6 or 7 years, and then I got the option to come to the international over here. So I work at the pool as a PE teacher in aquatics, and I got the job. I started as an aquatics assistant teacher over here. I worked for a year, then I got promoted to teacher, aquatics teacher here at the International School Nido de Aguilas. And then the aquatics director left. So I applied to be the aquatics director over here. And in that process, I got the offer letter, but the offer letter said that I was going to be the aquatics coordinator. So I was like, but if I'm going to be doing the same job as the aquatics director, why I'm not the aquatics director and I'm the aquatics coordinator? And the answer was that I didn't have those certifications. So I was like, fair enough. But that was kind of a punch to my ego because I knew that, like, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I know I have the skills. I've been doing this for a while because I was being also the aquatics assistant director. So I knew the job. I was doing much of what I was going to be doing. So I was like, okay, so I need the certifications. And that was my next step.
Okay.
Immediately, I applied to get certified. Yes.
I was going to say, we're going to dive into, your career, but I want to go back to your own school experience.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned, and again, I'm right there with you. When you're growing up, you just love sports, you just love games, and I think in the back of our minds, we're thinking, how can we do this for the rest of our lives? Well, become PE teachers, of course. But when you were in school, I know internationally sports, competitive sports usually is not offered through the school. It's offered through local clubs. What was your experience? Were you on any competitive teams, and was it through the school or through a local club?
So at the school, I was doing every sport I could, playing at the local league of the British schools here in Chile, in middle school, high school. But at the same time, I was also playing volleyball at a club here. So I had both experiences. It was nationally, but during my high school years, I also had the opportunity to travel with my teams to different tournaments in Europe, in South America. So, yeah.
Now, as you were getting ready to, go to college, what we would call college, was there any part of you that wanted to continue to play at that next level, play collegiately?
Well, it's here in Chile, it's not like you do play at college, but it's not as difficult as in the States. In the States, you really need to be like super, super high level in order, like, it's like you even get paid, in the States. What I understand, you even get paid like it's like a professional sports, right?
Mhm.
Here, I continue playing in college. I did play volleyball all of my 4 or 5 years at college, but I feel it's not like a professional sport as you do over there.
Right. No, absolutely. But it's great. Volleyball is one of those sports that you can continue to play even, into your adult years and beyond. Very cool. We're going to take our first break, but we're going to come back and want to hear more about, your early career. Once again, for our listeners, we're international today. Our guest is Lorena Rodriguez. She's a certified athletic administrator. She's the assistant athletic director at the International School Nido de Aguilas in Santiago, Chile. Let's take that first break, but we're coming back with some more. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to our friends at Snap Mobile for their support of the podcast. Are you tired of spending hours and hours with fundraisers that require your teams to go door to door and take half of the funds that you raise and turn them into the host? Stop right here and go to snapraise.com/EDAD. SnapRaise is hands down the best and the easiest fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with great success. And what's more important, it works. Go to snapraise.com/EDAD. You'll also find powerful tools like Snap Manage, Snap Store, and an exciting one called FanX. Go to snapraise.com, check out their entire suite of products that are going to help you save hours and hours of your time. That's snapraise.com. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to display your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, or simply showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD Podcast. Once again, our guest is Lorena Rodriguez from Santiago, Chile. Lorena, you were talking about your career, how you were getting going, and you had just been hired as the aquatics coordinator at a school. Tell us the rest of that story.
So I was telling a while back. So yeah, it wasn't like a punch to my ego saying that I was going to be the coordinator and not the director. So I was like, oh no, it's fair enough. I don't have the certification, but I'm going to do something about it. Even if they don't change the title, I won't have a certification. So that same year, I went to the US to get certified as a pool operator. I went to it was the National Swimming Pool Foundation, I think. Yeah, it was through the National Swimming Pool Foundation. It was Jacksonville. I traveled to Jacksonville. It was during the summer over there, winter over here. I got my certification and I came back to Chile with my certification. So I'm ready to start working as an aquatics coordinator. Even if I don't get the title, I know I have my certification now. So I was the interim aquatics coordinator for a year. And after that year as interim, I started as the aquatics coordinator for a couple more years. And that's where Claudia Araya gets in the picture. We have been friends for a long while since I got here to Nido. We were colleagues. We were together. She was a PE teacher and head of PE while I was in aquatics. But then she was offered to be the the athletics director, while I was offered the aquatics coordinator. And that's when she told me, hey, you know what? I'm traveling to the NIAAA conference. Why don't you come with me and you get certified too? So that was in 2016. We traveled together to the Summer Institute, Cape Cod. She had been there already. She had already got certified, but she was traveling again. So I did a couple of courses online to make sure that once I got there, I did the courses that I was missing and I was able to do my CAA over there, 2016. So if the school wanted me to be certified, I had all of my certifications, the swimming pool, the pool coordinator and the CAA. During 1 year, I had both of my certifications. So pat on my back to me. And that's where I got introduced to the NIAAA, and I've been participating since then.
We talk a lot about the NIAAA certification program, the LTI courses. There's also, I'm going to say in the last, let's say 7 or 8 years, the development of the NIAAA's International Athletic Administrator coursework. We're kind of jumping into our next segment, but that's okay. Great timing. Have you taken any of the international courses? And if not, that's okay. But talk a little bit about some of the courses that you did take for your CAA and maybe how you have utilized those at the school where you're at right now.
Yeah, well, I did take all of the 900s, all of them. In the years I've been traveling, I've taken them all. I did take, well, the 500s, even though many of them are legal issues that usually they are not, you can apply them to your country, but not, they're not like exactly, but it helps guide like the path you need to take, even though I'm not going to be like getting into legal issues over here. It helps you guide your path, where to go. So, well, yes, I've taken 500, 600, 700s, all of the 900s. I haven't got my international certification though, but I love, now that there's an international section, it's great that we can meet every December and we have our section meetings. Getting to know other international ADs, the networking. As you were asking, the courses, they are great courses. Even if there are not only the international courses, and sometimes, for example, crowd control, we don't have those super huge events as in the States over here. As I was saying before, they help you visualize a different program. They help you how to organize. One of the courses that I took that helped me a lot was, what was the exact name? I did write it down. Let me check. Stress management methods.
Oh, yeah.
That was one. That was a super good one, because my personality, I'm super like, I get stressed easily. I like everything to be like perfect. Like I'm a controller, you know. I need to have everything under control. And in this position, it's impossible to have everything under control. There's so many little things that you cannot have under your control, that it was great for me. And every once in a while, I try to let go. So yeah, and one other one that I remember a lot, it was dealing with challenging personalities. In that specific occasion, I took it because I had a colleague that was very difficult to work with. But there are always parents with difficult personalities. There are always coaches, kids. So in this specific occasion, it was because of a colleague, but it has helped me every once in a while. I go back, look at my notes. Yeah, I don't know. I try to go every year. I haven't been able to go every year. It has been at least every other year since I started going. But it's enriching, very enriching.
Well, you mentioned those two courses, and I think most ADs, I think most of our listeners would agree, we're very much alike. We are driven, we're perfectionists, things have to be just right. And we do need that stress release, and the stress management course is a great one. And the challenging personalities, or there's a newer, which is a great course, by the way, tremendous course. There's also one, you mentioned parents, partnering with parents, which the pats on the back are on my side now. I was part of that authorship team for that. Very proud. So if you're signing up for a course at this year's NADC in Orlando, not too far from my home, maybe consider LTC 716, partnering with parents. And any of the courses, like Lorena said, they're all great courses. Lorena, you mentioned networking, and we're going to take a break. But when we come back, I'm going to ask you, from your perspective, what are some things that you do to build your network? So let's go and take that break, but we're coming back with more. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank Gipper for their support of the podcast. Gipper is the official social media graphics solution for the Educational AD Podcast. And if you go to Gipper.com, their team is going to show you how to create world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. Your kids are on social media, and if you're not, you're missing a great opportunity to celebrate your teams and promote your athletes. Gipper's used and trusted by over 3,000 high school and college athletic programs. It's professional graphic design made simple. It's so simple, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com, mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's Gipper.com. We also want to say thank you to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com, and their team is going to show you how to set up and sell tickets online, not just for your athletic events, but for things like school plays, concerts, school dances, even graduation. And here's the best part. Every school is assigned a dedicated client success manager that's going to provide hands-on support every step of the way. That's every step of the way. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more. We'd also like to thank Huddle for their support. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, and it was just great. But when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that helped them coach our kids up to their highest level. At Huddle, we believe in sports and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 8 million users and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD Podcast. We've gone international this week, and we're in Santiago, Chile, visiting with Lorena Rodriguez, a certified athletic administrator. She's the assistant athletic director at her school. Lorena, you mentioned networking, and we were talking off before we started recording. In the States, networking is highly recommended. Maybe one of the most valuable tools an athletic director can have is build their network. And it's fairly easy for an athletic director in the United States to pick up the phone or shoot an email to an athletic director in their own town or close by, even in their state. What are some things that you've done as an athletic director to build your network in your situation?
Well, I think besides going to the conference and getting to know other ADs, it was great. Getting to know the ADs at the conference also helped us during the pandemic. It was big. Like, how are you living this in your school? What are you doing? How are you keeping your program alive when you're not being able to see the kids to get your program running? So it was, I think, I'm pretty sure it was John Powell he's also in Brazil, and he got like a bunch of ADs from Latin American. We started contacting and having meetings. What are you doing? Who's doing online? Who's not doing online? We started here in Chile, in our school, we started like a League of Champions where we had like the different teams participating. We tried to partner with other schools and have like this like online leagues. But just the idea of having the option of, as you were saying, just grab the phone. In this case, it's like probably WhatsApp or email and contact the other ADs from around the world. I feel fortunate that I've been meeting all these people that for me I feel there's always so much to learn from others and from different sides of the world where the realities are so different as well, you know. So learning from them. The last time, my last trip to the NIAAA, everyone was like pushing me like, hey Lorena, it's time for you to start going international. Even though you already work at international school, I've always been in Chile, you know, working at an international school, but in my home country. Claudia is one of the ones that pushes me the most. So I feel I have the I can, as you were saying, just grab the phone, text whenever I have questions. How can I be doing this differently? I don't know. I think networking in anything in life is it's big. It's better to have friends than to have money.
You know, you mentioned you know, getting different ideas from, you know, your colleagues and other ADs, people from your network. Looking at your own school, one of the things that we try to do with this podcast is the idea of sharing best practices. So, what are some things that you do at your school that you're particularly proud of? Maybe it's with kids or coaches or facilities, but what are some best practices at your school that you could share with our listeners?
I would say putting the kids as a first priority always. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. Sometimes there are some coaches that are so focused on like we need to win the game, we need to win the tournament, but sometimes that's not the most important thing. It's like build valuable athletes, value from here, not just from here. um, I think having every season, I don't know if this is something common or not, but every season having a coaches retreat to coach our coaches. This is how we want our program. This is what we want for our program and for our kids. So we begin every season with a coaches retreat. Some of those coaches are the same, some are not. So we make sure that we can guide them and lead them as our program want to run, and also finishing our program with a celebration for all of our athletes, no matter what happened. Like having the coach, the athletes banquet at the end. Right. To recognize everything that happened during the season. As I said, no matter if there was a trophy or not, everything that we accomplished during the season, it's something to celebrate, you know. So as I was saying, I don't know if it's super common in all of the schools. I've heard that yes, but that's something that I would give a strong shout out.
I think we'll go ahead and save this for our next talking point. But the coaches retreat, I think it's more common to do maybe at the end of the school year or at the beginning of the school year. I think athletic directors would love to be able to do that, as you mentioned, for the start of each season. You know, very that's it's just such a valuable experience to get everyone together. You know, get everyone on that same page. You know, as you go into that coach's retreat, I'm going to ask you one more question in this segment. As you go into that coach's retreat, let's say you've got a couple of coaches that now it's spring sports, it's their third go around, it's their third retreat for you. What are some things that you are still going to mention to that group of coaches, even if you have some that have already heard it a couple of other times? What's one of those foundational things of that coach's retreat that you're going to share? Anything come to mind?
Everyone matters, especially the kids. Sometimes As coaches, we focus on the star of the team and not on the last kid on the bench. That kid also matters. That kid is also super valuable for the team. So make sure that everyone will always get their time to talk, time to their feedback, their positive pat on the back. Uh, every everyone counts. Make sure that everyone counts.
And that is so important. We would tell our coaches, hey, you kept them, coach them, coach every single kid on that team. Good stuff. Lorena, we're going to do this at the end of the podcast too, but if one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more, find out how you do things at your school, or just add you to their network, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Email. I would say my email. Well, I'm also on the NIAAA, so if they are there, they can search for me there. But my email would be L Rodriguez. So L is for Lorena. LRODRIGUEZ. L Rodriguez at nido.cl. NIDO.cl.
And as Lorena mentioned, her information is also on the NIAAA members portal, so you can check it out there. Lorena Rodriguez, we're going to take another quick break, but we're coming back. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards for their support. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their score boards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Of course, we use it for home games, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. It's tremendously versatile, and the customer service is just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, schedule that live web demo today. We'd also like to thank our friends at Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com. It's the exclusive high school and state association platform for us. It's also your one-stop platform for things like scheduling, student-athlete eligibility and clearance, and a whole lot more. As an athletic director, I used Home Campus every single day, and it was just great, and you're going to love it too. To get started, all you have to do is go to homecampus.com. That's homecampus.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD Podcast. Our guest today is an international athletic director, Lorena Rodriguez. She's a CAA, and she's the assistant athletic director at the International School Nido de Aguilas in Santiago, Chile. I hope I get that right when I say that. Lorena, you and I were talking off mic, and you mentioned a topic that I think is very important for athletic directors. Can you share your thoughts on this idea of coaching and helping athletes to develop mental toughness?
Well, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday was the mental health day, I think. We had a coach many years. She left last year, but she used to. I think I learned from her. I love to learn from coaches. I think we always learn from everyone we meet in life, but she was the one that was always caring so much about mental toughness. She used to have at least once a week, she had a session with her athletes, working on their mental toughness and mindfulness. And that she was the one that made me like, wow, it's pretty important, open my eyes on this. I do feel that, as I was saying before, sometimes it's more about winning or losing and not caring that much on our kids, athletes' mental health. And for kids, it's usually hard to lose, especially. We need to teach them the importance of the game, not only the winning, as we were saying before, resilience, the importance of learning through the game. That's a nice piece of playing sports. It's so easy. No, it's not easy. It's what would be the word? Sometimes the words in English that don't come so easily to me. It's through sports. There's so much you can teach kids through sports that it's harder, like sitting in a classroom or it and mental toughness would be one of those, because there's so much to get frustrated with in a game or playing a sport. Is there something that it's hard for you to achieve, or during a game the results were not what you wanted? So I think it's I don't know, it's one of the things that usually we don't teach, we don't care that much, but it's something that we should start caring more. And during our coaches retreat, I was saying, having every semester one, that should be one of the topics that we should talk about and discuss about with our coaches, how to guide and coach and lead our athletes around that.
No, I agree with everything you said. And, the mental toughness component, there's a lot of different ways to try and help athletes develop that. I think we're also looking as coaches and as ADs, we use athletics to teach life lessons or life skills, sacrifice, dedication, commitment, teamwork, all those things that it's harder to do that, not impossible, but it's harder to do that in, let's say, a traditional academic classroom setting than it is out on the field. Is that kind of the direction you were thinking? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. That's, as I was saying, like, words in English sometimes don't come as easily as in Spanish for me, but yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. No, and I'm right there with you, and I think most of our listeners are too. Thanks for sharing that. Again, great stuff today. I'm glad we were able to connect, but we're not done yet. We always wrap up with the athletic director's toolbox. Now, you're no stranger to the world of athletics, but we're going to take our final break, hear from Athletic Surveys, who sponsor this next segment. And when we come back, we're going to find out what Lorena Rodriguez, certified athletic administrator, is going to put into the toolbox of a brand new athletic director. So please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the Athletic Director Toolbox segment. Athletic Surveys are a quick, easy, and an affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire program. Athletic directors already hear back from the complainers, that small group that want to gripe about everything. Athletic Surveys will connect you with the complainers, but they'll also connect you with the 98% of your parents that love and support your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with that frustrated parent or your principal or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that'll let you take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. That's athleticsurveys.com. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting today with Lorena Rodriguez. She's a certified athletic administrator. She's the assistant AD at the International School Nido de Aguilas in Santiago, Chile. Certainly knows her way around the world of athletics, but right now I'm going to challenge her to send out a brand new AD on the very first job, but I'm only going to let her put 3 things in the toolbox. So, Lorena, what 3 tools are going to go into your new athletic director toolbox?
The first one, that it's something I struggle with right now. So I would have loved someone to tell me this before. Balance. Being able to balance your life with your workload. Sometimes we get so passionate about your job and what you're doing that you forget that you need to have your own life. And right now, I'm struggling with it a little bit because since I have a little baby, I have 2 kids and I have a 11-month-old baby. I need to be able to get that balance. I need to get home early. If we have games, I need to get home early. There's a baby waiting for me. So I think balance would be a very valuable one. A second one, relationship with parents. Parents are going to be your allies always. So make sure to have a good relationship with parents, and they're going to help you. Not only those booster club parents, but also team parents. Having team parents, it's pretty good. They will help you with the communication with the rest of the parents. They're going to help you come down those maybe more passionate parents. So make sure to have those good bonds with parents. And last but not least, be flexible. Be ready for the unexpected. This is a position, this is a job where a lot of unexpected will always happen, and if you try to be that controller, that you're gonna end up burning out. So be flexible and ready to juggle, to make everything work.
Well, you probably saw me writing those down. They're all great tools. The balance one, especially, I think athletic directors are, we talked about them being, organized and driven and all of that. I think we are all great at giving that particular piece of advice. Sometimes we are not the best at taking that advice ourselves, but absolutely. Lorena, this has been really cool. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I know you're incredibly busy. One more time, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and connect with you, and listeners, I think you got a great resource here. What's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
On the NIAAA and through email, lrodriguez@nido.cl.
Okay. And again, check that email out at the NIAAA member portal. Lorena Rodriguez, thanks again for joining us. All the best with the rest of this particular season and the coming seasons. And we are definitely going to look forward to connecting in December at the NADC in Orlando.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Super happy that we were able to schedule this meeting. I'm happy that you invited me. Super honored, as I said at the beginning, and hope to see you in December.
No, absolutely. Thanks again. For our listeners, we do this just about every day, and we upload the Zoom recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Come back next time for another great interview, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.